Well, good morning, everybody. I want to hit a number of topics. I have two people, Chris Ford and Jason Smolsky. I hope I said that right. I probably didn't, and I apologize. But both talk about nuclear and global transitions. And I wanted to do the proliferation, non-proliferation treaty Canada's been assigned to, and actually go through nuclear as it really is. I know for Jason and Chris in both their narratives, which are correct, but they're also as well incorrect. And we're going to go through that. We're going to go through why the EU transitioned out of nuclear. Why exactly, when it happened. We're going to go through a number of topics. Canadians, we're in big trouble. Doesn't matter, Liberal, Conservative, NDP, we are in tremendous trouble. As of yesterday, the report it's already updated on the federal government's website. Pierre Poilievre screamed for it. He signed for it. So did Trudeau. This is collusion. Collusion. And it's terrible. It's terrible. It's an acting show of the politicians against all of you. And we're going to go through all that. But I want to make one statement clear here right now for everybody. And it's for friends and followers. I don't care who falls off. Mortality rates, men, women, children, all age ranges are in all the years of Canada throughout its time to the 50s when we started doing real statistical analysis, accurate statistical analysis, birth, death records, hospitalizations, all of it. And I'm going to tell everybody, mortality rates are at the same levels they were in 2019. All age groups combined. We can make mountains and out of molehills on all kinds of statistical ideas or cockamamie things, but if you don't have any statistics or your numbers aren't derived from real statistical analysis, I don't know what to tell you. No one's faking death certificates or birth certificates or the rest of it. It's what happens to our hospitals. The idea that people are hiding this in the hundreds of thousands of medical field personnel across Canada is cockamamie. It's cockamamie. I trust the statistics. I can't see tens of thousands of people participating, or even the hundreds of thousands when you add all the frontline care workers and everybody participating in some kind of cover-up. I'm sorry, people are going to have to learn to live with endemic. What's going on with our healthcare system is atrocious. There's other reasons for why we're experiencing so many problems. Immigration, I'm going to get into a little bit later in this video, but I want people to understand, statistically, all the way up to this summer, July 2022, infant mortality down so low it's at the same level as 2019. We had very, very few. We're talking about, folks, during COVID-19, infant mortality went up to 4.265 in 2021 at the height of the pandemic. Now we're endemic and we're 40 or 4.08. It's not even it's a difference. It's a difference. I'm not going to make light of children's lives, but it's literally a 2.67% drop, which 2.67 for infant mortality was throughout COVID-19 a slight increase. We're now below that bar. Sorry to disappoint the alt-left or the alt-right, both in conspiracy or their own agendas. I'm sorry that upsets you. I'm sorry for those who want a pandemic and those who want to get into anti-vax. I can't help you anymore. I'm sorry. There's no numbers to support any of you in any agenda. Any agenda you try to push, it doesn't hold water in the statistics and the numbers. Hospitals overridden and the rest of it, there's other answers and reasons for that, and in another video I'll go into that, but I won't be entertaining any more of these people. Alt-right, alt-left, I won't entertain you, but it is a big problem with this alt-right, especially on my feeds, and it's very annoying because you're acting like somehow we're in some kind of anti-vax pandemic, and we're clearly not. You have no numbers to support that, none whatsoever. So, I'm going to begin. Are you guys ready for this? Like I said, climate inflation for Canada. Voted and supported by both Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre. NDP, of course, voted for and sided with Liberals. $5.3 billion a year. As of Saturday morning yesterday, officially presented and changed in the government website last night. I made a post. Canadians will be paying $5.3 billion a year to Climate Emergency Fund for all low development indexed countries in the world. Canadians, that's what you're going to pay. It is 0.48% of what they're asking for. What's 0.48% in relation to Canada versus the entire world? Well, that is your ratio of your population to the world population. 0.48% translates to you all paying $5.3 billion to all countries in low development index that have natural disasters that the radicals are going to say are because of climate change. Every tornado, every hurricane, every volcano, every severe snowstorm, that's what Canadians are going to pay every year. Pierre Poilievre says nothing, and why is that? Because he voted for it in the Paris Climate Accord, and now Agenda 2030, Trudeau stamped it off. Not one cry out, not one voice from the Conservatives, because they're in it too. Not a word from NDP, because they're in it too. Global socialism. Did we not have some major disasters right here in Canada? I can tell you we watched Hurricane Ian hit the eastern coast, Fort McMurray fires, Slave Lake, all that. Oh yeah, how did those Canadians all fare? How would 5.3 billion fare for all of those Canadians? How would they? How would it fare? How would $5.3 billion affect the lives of all Northern Treaty and Inuit in water? How would their lives be affected? What are their development indexes? They were ignored in COP27. They were actually thrown out. One chief from BC was thrown out of COP27, put on the sidelines like largely China, Russia, USA, OPEC countries, and all kinds of other first world annex countries. All pushed to the side. All pushed to the side. That's where we're at. That's the first topic all Canadians need to know. It should be out there. It should be shared. People should know this, that it's already paid, and it's to be paid every year to 2050. Every year by Canadians. How does that affect our inflation? Oh, it affects it large. So much for the Conservatives, Liberals, NDP, and you the people. So much for you. Never mind the First Peoples. You again are completely under the bus. Show me a settlement of that magnitude for any of you. Second thing I want to get into, this is for Jason and Chris. It's huge. They had a good back and forth, and Chris brought a good point. Jason brought a good point, and it's all about nuclear energy and what Canadians and the whole world really needs to know. And I can tell you from European Union countries, even India, even Japan, is that there's highly enriched nuclear reactors. Germany, France, there's a bunch of them. Now, 5 countries in the world, 5 only, since the 70s are allowed to develop highly enriched nuclear reactors. What does that mean, Chris? This is important for you and sustainability. Enriched uranium rods, plutonium, and it's a specific type of enrichment, allows for fuel rods to last anywhere from 40 to 80 years. Unenriched uranium, which is just as toxic and polluting in radioactive waste, is between a year to 2 years. See the problem here, folks? Highly enriched, you can go as high as 80 years on that loaded fuel cell. We have a higher reaction that sustains itself for a much, much, much longer time. The problem is, in enrichment, you can build nuclear weapons. You can not only build this tremendous energy that's completely sustainable, that shoots past all estimates. In fact, it's quite a bit larger than that, Chris and Jason, for sustainability, because you start to harvest the world's supplies. And where do you find the best sources of naturally enriched uranium ore? I'm glad you all asked, and I'm glad the world's asking, because, well, that's Alberta and Saskatchewan. Yeah, they have a tremendous, enormous volume of this ore, enough to power Canada for thousands and thousands of years, to actually transition away from the massive quantities of unenriched nuclear waste constantly being produced year after year. In fact, it's such a problem, they're having a problem finding places to put it, so they're reaching out to First Peoples reserves to get them to buy their reserves, basically burying all that contamination underneath the reserves. That's Canada's solution. Go to the defined savages. They're not really people either. Give them money today. Their land may be unusable down the road. Sick, depraved. Didn't really want to go into this, but too many people are waking up and too many people are wise. Jason and Chris nail it together. Two kind of somewhat polar opposites. Not that Jason's not extreme right and Chris isn't extreme left, but they're on a spectrum, and it's okay. It's okay. I love it. I welcome it. And together, you guys nailed it. And so I released this. I don't know what kind of trouble this could cost me here in my job. I don't know, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I said it. I'm glad I got it out there. It's important for everybody in the entire world to know. You'll find Germany can't go back to its highly enriched uranium reactors. Their alternative is unsustainable, unenriched uranium that creates even more pollution because you're loading the reactors more and more. They say No, we're not doing this. Japan, too, they are working as hard as they can to keep what they had before the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Again, USA, France, Russia, UK, who did I miss there? Russia, China, USA, France, UK, they all have highly enriched uranium reactors. Everybody else doesn't or are dealing with absolutely aging, extremely old, highly enriched uranium running reactors. They don't get to build anymore. They have to switch to unenriched, like what Canada does. You all decide the feasibility of that, the sustainability of that. Canada has the world's best and largest source of highly enriched uranium ore, meaning we're already ready for it, but we can't do it because you could create nuclear missiles. That goes for everybody. So you can't do it. Can't proliferate anymore. If you don't believe me, look at Iran. They said, well, we're going to do it. Ooh, good luck with that. Third thing I want to get into, huge on COP27, was the OECD Poland, and Poland is the president of the OECD. And you know what? Missiles fired from Ukraine went astray and hit Poland on the border, killed 2 Polish citizens. USA, the United States military and satellites, recorded it. They recorded it. They mapped it. They released a statement and said it was not Russia, it was Ukraine. Probably accidental. They fired, or maybe not. We don't really know motivations. But those missiles launched, a missile went astray and hit the Polish border, killing 2 Polish citizens. Poland refuses to accept that. On Twitter, you can go on Twitter, you can go look at the ambassador. He posts that it was Russia. Russia did it. End of story. We don't care. They've removed Russia from the OECD meeting December 1st and 2nd, and is pushing the fact that Russia bombed Poland. It's not true. The world's telling you it's not true. USA's telling you it's not true. Poland doesn't care. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe anything else. Nothing. It was Russia. That's the end of the story. But it's not true. We're lucky they're telling the truth. But how close are we to World War III? When is it going to be Europe at war, much the same as what evolved in World War II? When's that coming? I think that is the closest we've ever been, and they're not letting up. So OECD, all of European Union, their security and defense, is having a meeting, and they threw Russia out. Talks broke down. This is terrible. This is concerning, and it's concerning because they're not accepting the truth. They're going with a narrative they want to make happen. That's problematic. That's problematic. It was the design of the colonial countries of World War II and colonial countries of World War I. We don't care what's the truth. We're going to make this happen, and we're going to take what we want for ours. Very problematic, folks. It should concern everybody. I do have one more topic to hit. I know it's not in the next topic of colonialism and immigration. We're going to get into that because it's huge and important for Canada. But there's something I forgot that should have been in this video, and it's huge. So we all know Justin Trudeau and Canadians clapping, and Pierre Poilievre likes it too. All the Canadian parties love it. How Xi Jinping, president of China, and Justin Trudeau had a huge falling out. Xi basically calls Trudeau a liar. This is, why are you telling your media this? And then Trudeau says, oh, well, we don't agree with you and blah, blah, blah. And he goes with the UK narrative. Slam China, a P5 country. Well, folks, hang on to your seats. And I have a job for all of you to check the validity of this. Trudeau told off Xi Jinping. Jinping told off Justin Trudeau. Go look at your trade balances after the last 2 months. USA, by Oxford definition, by Canada's definition, USA's in recession. They've been in recession for many, many months. We are not technically yet in recession. We're creeping towards that line. It's coming very quickly. But folks, China has picked up the loss of American trade, our loss of American exports, our loss of American imports, our debalancing of U.S.-Canada trade has been picked up by China, largely by China. And Trudeau is saying all these things about China, like, are you purposely trying to push us into recession? Pierre-Paul Levere, are you purposely pushing us into recession? Pierre-Paul Levere puts on his Facebook, and Trudeau too, and he put that on there. Pierre puts on there, he says, we don't have a revenue problem. Oh, really? We don't have a revenue problem, Pierre Poilievre? We're not expanding our resources, which make our wealth of the country. I would say that's a revenue problem. Are you an energy advocate, or are you all about energy poverty? Because I know Justin Trudeau is, I know Jagmeet Singh is, but everything you say and do points the other way from what you're actually doing or saying. And sometimes I catch you saying it. You said we don't have a revenue problem. I beg to differ, Pierre Poilievre. Trade imbalance clearly shows we do have a revenue problem. We're in massive deficits. Entirely through your entire Harper government, you borrowed astronomically, as Justin Trudeau's doubled you, as you clearly want to double down on immigration. You both do. Trudeau's catching up to what your promises were, and you're saying, well, I'm going to beat that by a larger margin. You don't care about the financial consequences of these actions. Just wanted everybody to know that Justin Trudeau in his fight, guess what happened with Joe Biden on his Facebook? It's actually being advertised, a broken down video for all Americans. Joe Biden, COP27 and those G20 countries, the Annex 1, Joe Biden sat down with Xi Jinping across the table. They cut the video. It's on his Facebook. It's on his Facebook 3 days ago now, I guess, Friday during the daytime, the second last day. They extended it to Saturday deadline. But Friday, Joe Biden posted the video of him and Xi Jinping where they're friendly, they're going to work together. I thank you for the works we do together in supply and value chains. Thank you. Let's work together, regardless of our differences, to make the world a better place. That was Joe Biden's video with Xi Jinping. A video completely opposite of the United Kingdom, who doesn't say anything, and of course all Commonwealth countries, where Justin Trudeau has a full-on battle with Xi Jinping. And Xi says, why do you lie to your media? He had a legitimate point. You're lying to your media. CBC's funding's out there for anyone to see. Astronomical salaries, 141 directors of CBC. I guess we need all that. We got to pay for that. But they write and they produce this narrative conservative or liberal alike, that this is a good idea for Canadians to alienate China, even though they're responsible for much of our supply and value chains. There's only really two countries that get us out to world market. That's USA and China. Now, Canadians, you can say, F the Chinese, F them. Okay, there goes 15% of your value and supply chains. Never mind how much you import at such low prices comparatively. You want to see inflation? Flip the switch, remove China, and watch your prices go through the roof. You want to see inflation and trade with China. That's not happening. We keep growing trade. That's what Xi is saying to Trudeau. Like, why are you telling your media a complete lie when we're increasing trade with you? You're doing very well considering you could be in recession. They're a P5 country, and people, we have to accept it. We have to ignore the United Kingdom, another P5 country who gets to control value and supply chains, not Canada. We're not a P5. We don't trade with UK in the extreme way. European Union, yes, trade has gone up, which is a good thing. All trade, I am a firm believer in trade. I like to see trade go. I don't like imbalanced trade. I don't like extreme deficits. It's why we need resources. We need manufacturing. We need construction. We need infrastructure that leads the primary sector there. That's not happening. That's not happening. It's never happened with the Conservatives or Liberal parties of Canada. Never happened. Never happened. Not for a very long time. We have stopped basically in the early 90s. We've stopped going forward on the global stage. We have given that up to other countries, largely the P5. Right now, those two largest countries in charge of our value and supply chains are USA and China. Sorry, I don't know if anyone's telling you anything else, but that's a lie. We're outdated. We're not there. We don't have a military to support even such aspirations. We can't even make our NATO commitments. We definitely don't make our NORAD commitments. We're definitely a declining nation. And why? Because you have a wealthy elite class who cares about filling their back pockets, making a foreign entity, a foreign power more powerful than they really should be anymore today. Living in colonialism, in those colonial narratives, while we, the people, get weaker, even though we're in this tremendous country with more resources than any other per person per capita in the world, nearly. I think we relatively are. We are definitely there. And such a small population, yet we continue to decline. We continue to decline. Colonialism, immigration. This is again Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre. I just went through some of it, but I want to give you the lowdown. So the developing nations, especially those attached to the Commonwealth, are extremely upset. Canada's poaching their skilled labor forces, bringing them to Canada. Because Canada doesn't want to develop or pay for Canadians. Tax us all, don't develop these systems, import people through colonialism, an age-old system that doesn't work. You're always displacing the domestic population. You always have a savage peoples. Well, who's that? That's all the treaty Indians, unceded, off reserve. Absolutely the Métis and Inuit, largely Métis across Canada, and absolutely the Inuit. Canada's been doing this for 150 years. Other countries, Australia is in the same boat. New Zealand's in the same boat. There are still a few other colonials throughout some island states and some African nations still in that state, but nobody worse or longer running than Canada. And conservatives and liberals right now today, Pierre Poilievre champions on his Facebook, we need more skilled nurses, doctors, all of it flooded into Canada. That will solve all our problems. Lower wages, cut spending. Get Canadians used to living on less and less. Well, my back pocket fills to the brim and all my friends. And Justin Trudeau's like, me too, me too. I doubled the Conservatives. I'm going to continue on full-blown colonialism. They're both advertising it. They're in a race to trick all of you that this is a good thing. Our increasing debt to GDP ratio that is conservative and liberal alike. Don't kid yourself. They double down on each other. You can flip-flop, rinse, repeat. They double down on each other. All the provinces prove NDP is just as much a dirty shirt. Just as much a dirty shirt. Look at all the provincial balance sheets incorporating any political party. You'll watch double down. Put it all together, you have a tremendous government debt, both federally and provincially. You won't find this in other countries in the world. And when you do find countries, like they try to say, oh no, look, in the G20, Canada's in the middle. No, look, these other countries are way worse than us. Look at even USA. Oh yeah? What's the household debt? Oh, all those countries are nil. What's the corporate debt? Oh, it's much lower. Three debts added together equals your public debt. Ask Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau to statistically analyze that together. I don't see anyone from the right or left doing that. Taxpayers Federation makes me laugh now. I'm well beyond you guys. And it's clear there's a corporate side of buddies. There's a government corporate side of buddies, and we the people, crony capitalism, fascism, or divine socialism, us the people are sitting at the table with empty plates, even though we slaughtered the cow, even though we picked the berries, even though we harvested the wheat to make the meal in front of us, they take it all. Right or left up here in full-blown autocracy. Fascism, divine socialism, together. Where do you find that? Constitutional monarchies. The history of constitutional monarchies show you peasants and the would-be savages always some barbarian or savage who has to be liquidated. Keep the peasants scared. Come running to the castle. You're safe here. Just give us almost everything you have. Work on the Lord and Baron's land. Give your labor, your toil, all your harvestments. Give it to us. And we'll keep taking more and more until you freeze alone in the winter and die. And then you're going to have anarchy. We'll make a charter promise. And then we'll never live up to it. And we'll keep rinsing, repeating, till we take more and more. Because you're not people. You're subjects, which are slaves, and savages, which are not people. And if you want to graduate from savage, assimilate into slavery for the vast majority of you. There will always be positions under the divine first-class pyramid, known as a monarchy, that you can fill to help us administer the system. Take your little piece of the cake. You're doing better than those in the bottom, right? Until the bottom has enough and goes after the top, which routinely happens in the world. World War I, World War II, we're supposed to be in a tremendous place right now today, but we're not, because colonialism still exists. Age of Empires is growing. People keep calling it the New World Order, but clearly it's the Old World Order. And I can see the narratives every day, what Canada's trying to trick the people into, trying to fuel things to lead them absolutely the opposite direction to we the people. And it's hard. It's hard, and I know it's hard for all friends and followers. We watch following fall off. It's a wave of the ocean when we have our time. 2024, I will run the party, but not before then. Already, folks, look at Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre. He came out so strong, so many thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Canadians flooded to his messaging, but now him and Trudeau are pretty much neck and neck again. Pierre's falling off. Canadians are going to get tired. Stay the course. It's hard to do, but 2024, that 1 year, I know what I'm doing. I understand the political system that I don't enjoy, but I do understand it. I cross my T's, I dot my I's. I did it in 2019. I'm going to do it federally in 2024. I'm going to take that year and I'm going to run it right through. I learned a tremendous amount just in the province of Alberta. And we will bring that forward, we the people, for the first time ever, an idea. And it's all about you, the people, all peoples and First Peoples, and having all the Crown lands of Canada, meaning private property for all of you. The exact opposite of communism, the polar opposite, a brand new idea. Wow, who would ever thought, right? Can be done in Canada because of the tremendous amount of Crown lands that are held not by First Peoples, contrary to recent bullshit out of Treaty 6, which has always been problematic, that somehow these lands are in trust for the First Peoples by His Majesty King Charles. Is cockamamie. You can go on the government website, provincial, federal Crown land. It's not, wasn't the Queen's. They used to lie to you and tell you that story, but now they have to publish the truth. They have to tell you the truth. Governor General of Canada sitting in, our Chief Justice Wagner, who did sit there after the nutcase astronaut was thrown out of it, went there and rewrote it all, which I'm tremendously happy about. He rewrote it all, and it's all there for you. Update yourself. For First Peoples still lingering on that, I guess it would be the Crown Colonial Indian. Best way I can say that according to the Indian Act. These are sworn to the Crown chiefs who sold their soul and now are narrating this bullshit, even though treaty Indians sit on 0.2% of Canada. Only 0.2% of Canada. And you live horribly. You are not privy to any ability of self-governance outside of a city councillor, which means there's no tax collection. There are zero rights to any of Section 92. At least every other Canadian gets that, even though it's autocratically decided with no accountability. But at least we can get that in 9% of Canada, whereas you all get 0.2%, with zero rights to Section 92 all the way to 144. The reserve Indian, the savage, placed like an animal on a reserve. And nobody has a problem with this. We talk about the woke, we talk about the alt-right and everybody else. Nobody sees a problem with this 2022. It's normal. It's not normal. It hasn't been normal since 1960. Absolutely and 100%. It hasn't been normal since 1948 on the laws of genocide. And it most certainly has never, ever, ever been normal since 1945, the UN Charter. Read these things, folks. Read them, and that's just a few. It's backed up over and over and over again. The Allies of World War II went through it, cemented it, bound it 10 different ways from Sunday. Serious. But yet Canada says, oh, no. We're going to continue. We're going to stay under that 3% threshold that activates the Allies. We're going to just play a game, keep the crown for ourselves, fill our pockets, rape our people, and destroy the savages. And we're all going to get rich in this pyramid scheme. old world order, which is the new world order. Canada leads it. UK, that as it was the British Empire, designed this. It was called Canada. Canada won. You want to go look at the Tower of Manchester, the Pyramid Tower. It's there for everyone to look at. And a lot of the world took that design and utilized it. Many governments did. War of Colonials 1 and 2. All kinds of wars over it, folks. They lost. But yet here Canada sits. Share, share, share. Get it out there. Lots of information for everybody here. It's very important. It's important for everybody. I know it's hard. I know people don't want to hear it. They want, no, I won't believe it. I won't. But why are 38 million people struggling in a country with such vast resources per person per capita? Why are we in the non-proliferation agreement? Russia's north of us, USA's south of us. Are we not able to make a deal? Are we not able to deal with the allies? Australia isn't in the non-proliferation agreement, folks. They're not in it. Why are we? Energy poverty. Energy poverty. We give away our highly enriched uranium, our ore. We give it away, pennies on the dollar, to all those countries. Russia has a pile of ours. USA has a pile of ours. China has a pile of ours. And we got a big giant mountain there of it still remains. And Canadians, we can go with the world narrative of bullshit. We can lie to ourselves. Keep saying we're a tremendously great country in decline. Can't even put Christmas trees up. City of Edmonton won't even do that. Colonialism doesn't work. It's never worked, and it never will work. Get the video shared, guys. Get it out there. It's important. God bless. Have a good day. Bye now.